Hey, my name is Matt Lewis. I play Ron on Netflix's #1 hit TV show all around the world, Cobra Kai.
Hi, I'm Brian Troxell. I play Gavin on Cobra Kai.
Hey, everybody. I'm Cara Annmarie. I play Sue on the hit show Cobra Kai.
Hey, guys. I'm Kurt Yue. I play George on Cobra Kai. And here talking with Chris Gordon on Hellblazer Biz.
Everyone, I have the honor and the privilege and the company, as you can see, of Matt, Brian, Kurt, and Cara, who performed the All Valley Tournament committee. I couldn't think of my words then. Like Matt said in the intro, the global phenomenon that is Cobra Kai at the moment, and it's that I saw that. Was it yesterday? I just saw it, and all of you, obviously, because it's just hit every single season, is now in the top 10 worldwide. How does that?
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
It is.
I just didn't think. I didn't even think about it being something that might happen, but it's happening, and it's a very cool feeling that everybody. I mean, especially I think it's so cool because we did for Matt and Kurt and I. We were in season 1, so people that are either just getting started. Or just starting from the beginning and looping. I don't know what people are doing. It's so incredible that the entire series is such a hit.
It is definitely. I mean,
it's gotten to the point where I'm surprised when people haven't seen it, right? I'm surprised, or if they haven't even heard of it. I had someone message me the other day saying, "Hey, I was over at my friend's house and I saw you on that karate show." I'm like, that karate show? Like, you haven't heard of Cobra Kai?
It is. I mean, there's people in work as well, because obviously I try to advertise and ask people to send questions. And I'm dead proud that I get to talk to you guys for obvious reasons, because I'm just a little lowly fan over in the UK. I'm chatting to you guys. And there's people in work and they're still, I turn around and like, do you watch Cobra Kai? And when people turn around and tell me no, it's like, I just sit there because I'm on camera and my face just visibly drops. I'm like, really? I said, I work for a broadband company. We've just done a joint deal with Netflix for one of our TV. I'm not going to say which one, but one of our boxes that we've got out there, and we've done. And so Netflix is everywhere. They came in with actually did a presentation in work with Squid Game. So they had the big doll of the girl there, and it was the managers came dressed in those suits with the masks and everything on. So that was how big Netflix. It was a lovely cat for you there, Brian.
Winston likes he likes his camera time, so
it's gorgeous. So yeah, they did that. So we got Netflix, and everyone loves Netflix where I'm working, and so. But whenever I meet someone who hasn't seen Cobra Kai, I'm kind of like the same. I'm like, really? Why haven't you watched it yet? It's like 4 seasons now. Get onto it. It's like the best show out there. And then they watch it.
Karen has a good point. Is like, how many folks are just like watching season 4 and then going back and binging the previous seasons, or how many folks are like, they've heard that it's such a good show that they're starting from season 1 and going forward? It's staggering how just this new season dropping is just blowing up all the previous seasons.
It has, definitely.
I think it's kind of a mixture of both, because I will get like Facebook messages or whatever from people that I haven't spoken to in years, and people that have never messaged me about Cobra Kai, and they'll reference, seeing me pop up in season 3 or season 4, to which I always respond like, well, hey, did I was also in season 1. Did you see that yet? And they're like, no, I didn't get to that yet. I'm watching that soon. So I think they are sort of picking it up, in season 4 and then going back and rewatching the rest, or picking up and see. I don't know what they're doing. It's weird. I would just start in the first season and,
Yeah. There's no way I would just pick something up at 4. I think that, it's so wild too, because there were people that started with us on YouTube, and then it got a whole bunch more people coming in with Netflix, and they got all 3. And now it seems like there's a whole new audience that's getting all 4, where they're just starting over. And my poor sister, because I was posting, she actually was like jingling around and just watching like, oh, Carrie Underwood's here. Like she would just go to that. And she's like, well, she watched us on Kurt's YouTube. And then she's like, well, now that I've seen everybody talk, she watched our board scene because it just had such a different, she had different feelings because now she felt like she knew everyone else that I was working with. And now, God bless her, I think she's now starting at the beginning of 4. She's like pretty caught up, but she is a teacher and does other things than just binge, but she's all over the place with that.
I was at the doctor's yesterday for a physical. I'm old and it's time for a physical. And the doctor wanted to take my blood pressure. And so I was wearing a sweatshirt of some sort. So I had to take it off, and it was very early in the morning. So I just like ran out of bed and threw some clothes on and ran to the doctor. I think my appointment was like at 8 or something, which is early for me. And I didn't think about it, but I was wearing an Eagle Fang shirt. So I took my sweatshirt off and she saw my Eagle Fang shirt and she was like, oh, it's Cobra Kai. Do you watch Cobra Kai too? I was like, yeah, I'm actually on it. And she was like, wait, there's an Eagle Fang in it. You take karate? I'm like, no. I'm on the show. She's like, yeah, but the Eagle Fang. And she just like she wasn't hearing me. I was like, no. I play the president of the All Valley Committee. I'm on the show. I'm an actor in the show. And I was, of course, wearing 2 masks and too. But then she was like, wait, yeah, no, yes, I recognize you. And she ran out for 15 minutes. It was funny.
I thought you were getting ready to reveal a big Cobra Kai tattoo.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to reveal.
And I do have a huge hawk, a hawk Ron on my back.
Okay.
Dojo, the hawk Ron dojo. Well, I have my yearly physical next week, so I'll make sure to wear a Cobra Kai shirt today.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got to say, it's Cobra Kai actually gave me a bit of fame in my estate where I live as well, because I walked out and there's obviously kids living around on the estate, and I'd interviewed Hannah Keppel last year as well, Moon, around the same time as I interviewed you guys. So, and I went out and one of the kids from the estate was like, excuse me, are you the person who spoke to, you've got a YouTube channel? I was like, yeah. And she goes, did you speak to Moon from Cobra Kai? And the other people from Cobra, I said, yeah, I did. They're like, oh my God. And they ran around. I was like, wow, I'm famous now. Cobra Kai made me famous. They were about 11 years old, to be fair, so it wasn't exactly, I couldn't celebrate too much. But even so, I was like, well, you've heard of, I said, the fact you watch Cobra Kai, I said, is amazing. So, just spread the word and keep it going. I teach cadets as well. They're like air cadets, they're like RAF type things, but they're kids about between 12 and 16. So I've got them all to watch it as well now, because I'm one of the instructors and I keep singing about his praises every time I say, I'm going to be talking to some Cobra Kai people tonight. And they said, we haven't watched it yet. I said, watch it. So I lectured them the other day and I said, I'm speaking to them this week. Watch it. So yeah, they're getting there. It's just the phenomenon of Cobra Kai is, like we spoke about it last year, and like you said before, the first 3 seasons, now 4th season came out within 3 days, #1 worldwide. Now every season is. And it's just season 4, every single character, I think I saw a blue tick, I can't remember the person's name, they had a blue tick on Twitter, but they said season 4 was every character just absolutely nailed and got because you guys as a tournament, which we'll talk about, you had some amazing scenes, really great, funny, scenes within there as well. And it just seemed the whole of season 4, you've had 3 seasons of character development, building up the rivalries between Johnny and Danny, and then whoomph, and obviously the kids. And then in season 4, everything again just came together. And I had goosebumps. I really did. I mean, watching the scenes where, Daniel's learning the Eagle Fang and vice versa, and Johnny's learning, those scenes they're just hilarious to watch as well. It's really, I've got goosebumps now talking about it because I remember the scenes were just so brilliant. And for someone who watched Karate Kid like you guys when you grew up, it's just, it just flowed so well. And the twists and the turns, I mean, I've told people there's spoilers on this already, but when you've got Terry Silver coming in and you see how Kreese even Kreese redeemed himself, slightly, not all the way, maybe a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And he redeemed himself. And then you started feeling sorry for him at the end because he got screwed over. Yeah. And it's like, wow. And so you just wonder where things are going to go from there. But going back to your characters, which is what we're here for anyway, your tournament scenes, I mean, how did that feel? I mean, it was great to see the committee, for example. You've built up all 3 seasons and obviously Brian joining you in this season as well, which was great. And Matt, I mean, I feel sorry for you because there's a bit of a mutiny going on, I think.
Always. It's perpetual. I've always said that everyone wants Ron's crown, but no one wants to bear the weight of Ron's crown. It comes down to the nuts and bolts of it. Everyone flees. But
he's only temporarily saved too, I feel.
Well, yeah. I think it's only a matter of time before someone else usurps my power and locks me in a dungeon somewhere. I think that is inevitable.
You best not miss, as they say. Right.
It kind of felt a bit Shakespearean, to be honest.
Real crown, as Darryl can attest to. There's not really a real crown. You just got to grab the gavel, and then you become you're the leader now.
Although Ron did redeem himself with the whole Carrie Underwood.
That's right.
He did, yeah. I mean, it was going to say it's a bit Shakespearean-esque as well. We were in the balcony. It was kind of like, it was like, when shall we 3 meet again type thing. You're sitting there and plotting away Ron's demise as he's down.
But it was funny because when, because that scene starts without me because I'm down messing with Carrie Underwood. And so I was able to see their footage from like down on the mat. Mm-hmm. And when we were up on that balcony, I mean, you could like see some red lighting and stuff, but with being within the lighting, you couldn't really see, you couldn't really get the full picture. And so I saw the monitors. And so I took a picture and texted it to everybody else. I was like, you guys, this is so badass. You look amazing. You guys look like the Empire in Star Wars, like standing at this red light behind you. Like it looked really awesome.
I definitely think that's their idea, is that we're, looking down upon this world that we've made happen. Yes. Those were I can't remember. One of the guys had said that to us, like we're kind of lording over the All Valley.
Yeah.
The puppet master standing at the top, wringing your hands together, like Mr. Burns. I was just thinking.
I think when we were filming, we were confused because we saw chairs sitting at the dais with the trophies and stuff, and we saw 4 chairs, but there were 5 of us, and we all just kept asking each other, like, "Well, when do we get to go sit down there and watch the whole tournament? That's what we did last time. What's happening?" And once I saw season 4, I realized, like, at least for one of the scenes, those were stunt guys that were getting weapons, thrown at them by accident. So they're like dodging staffs and knives and stuff. I'm kind of glad that we didn't sit there because,
I don't have that kind of dodging skills.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you might have picked that up from Hawkeye, Brian, to be honest, as Gary. Was it dodging the arrows?
Yeah, we're more like dodging the barbs of.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like when you came on. Actually, you mentioned when Carrie Underwood. She's like a goddess to me. She's like my favorite female country singer. She's just so amazing. How was that? Because that was when she came on. I could just imagine everybody. You guys on set, I could see all the pictures and stuff when we were able to release it. We're just over the moon and fangirling, fanboying out as well as everyone at home. And the song she sang, obviously it's got that sentiment from the originals films, and she was just perfect. So how was she working with? Well, how was it working with her? Should I say?
There were a lot of giant grins on set that day. She sang the song, 7 or 8 times. Without the crowd getting her coverage, and then she did it, another half of the takes with the crowd, without the crowd, and then with the crowd. I don't remember what I just said, but everyone was just so stoked that she was there. And then also that we were there to witness like probably the big cover song or, big homage to the original soundtrack for season 4. That was cool. She was really sweet. And none of us really knew until like a day or two before, because in the script, her name was Tammy Overton. And so we all just sort of assumed that they had, they were going to have a character of a pop star and hire an actor to play this pop star. Yeah. And on the day that, I forget who, but one of the guys came up and they were like, oh no, actually Carrie Underwood. And then, there she was, and it was really neat. It was really exciting. And I could see because people were texting me pictures from the sides and I could see as we were working on that scene that everyone had sort of snuck in and like everyone on set was watching her, not me. No one was watching. I have this superstar. It was really cool.
I have so many pictures of everybody who's a star on the show getting their picture taken with Carrie Underwood from up in the Everybody's like, oh my God. Everybody was getting pictures taken with it.
I also think, it seemed like she was pumped to be there too, and to be a part of this show. So it was, the whole time having her was just wonderful because everyone just delighted over her, and she seemed really to be pumped to be a part of it as well. So
she stuck around and got pictures with everybody after we were done filming. Oh wow! I don't get starstruck on set, but I do say really stupid things sometimes in general. And so when I was getting my picture taken with Carrie Underwood, I said, well, thanks so much for, agreeing to be on our little show. And she looks at me and she goes, little show? It's actually quite popular. All right. Yeah. Put my foot in my mouth again, didn't
I? I did see her. She tweeted out a picture as well. She's wearing the eagle fang robe, and she put there saying she thinks that Billy had maybe pinched it from the wardrobe, from the costume.
When I saw we had finished shooting that sequence, and that basically wrapped us for the day. Everyone was just sort of making around talking, and I saw a window where she was like, she had an assistant that was with her, but she wasn't like busy or engaged with anyone. So like, I snuck over there. I was like, hey, forget that. I'm going to go get a picture with Carrie Underwood because why not? And I'd introduced myself earlier, and we had sort of kind of worked together on that scene. So she knew who I was, and I didn't feel like I was going to scare her or bother her or anything. So I went over and she was like, oh, hi, do you want a picture? I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And her assistant immediately was like, hey, I'll take it. So she took my phone. I took some pictures with Carrie Underwood. It was super cool. And then I turned around, and Courtney and Vanessa and Rose, who play Amanda and Carmen and Yaya, were all lined up behind me. When I turned around, they were like, dude, if you're getting a picture, we're getting them too. And so,
I actually ran from like my trailer. I heard it because it was kind of like the day was wrapping up. And one of the kids' moms, I don't know, we were walking to craft services or something, I'm not sure, and mentioned it. And I feel like I just ran. I was like, I am getting this. I want to meet her. Because I really was hoping she would invite me into her tour bus. I was really like pulling over her tour bus. And I did talk with her about how we too, my family is also traveling in our own tour bus. That's why I have the background up right now. Hers is like 3 of our tour buses could fit inside her tour bus, but still she was so sweet about it and did say something about it's just so easy because you can get to where you want to go and then the kids can go to sleep. I feel the same way. So we're really, BFFs right there. I felt like you just get me, Carrie Underwood.
Bus friends forever, BFFs.
Exactly, yeah. So that sounds like such an awesome experience. To say Carrie is just, she's phenomenal, isn't she, with the singing, and to hear that she's that's nicer person as well, that she'll reach out and she had, and be so what's the word? Welcoming and friendly with everybody. It's just it's lovely to see. I've heard that about her before, that she's a very down to earth person as well. So with the tournament, well, you guys, because it was your decision to change the tournament as well, because from the standard just kicking each other to bits to actually skills tournaments with the, as you said, mentioned before, the stunt people probably get knives thrown at them left, right, and centre and the nunchucks. Well, so that was really nice. That was really good to see, actually. Because to be fair, there was a hell of a lot of skill being shown on set with that kind of weaponry, should I just say, and the different types of the karate forms that there can be. So.
Well, shout out to all those kid actors, right? To not only have to learn all the kicks and punches and the katas and all that stuff, but now they have to learn weapons. Like they're having to up their game every season, and they're doing it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well, because as they're growing up, they're picking up so much more, and their development is just phenomenal. Even as little Owen, the little blonde with the glasses, seeing him coming on, and then you got the new season. You had this one as well where I can't remember his name. The one whose brother's in prison, who was in prison with
Kenny's the character.
Yeah. So and obviously he came along, and the little one getting bullied and pushed through, and then he turned the corner. And it's just seeing that development coming on, and the skill sets that, like you said, it's a big shout out to those guys for what they're having to pick up, because I couldn't even imagine it. I mean, if I picked up a nunchuck, I'd end up in A&E, casual, A&E hospital, with black eyes. Wouldn't be able to walk. I'll just put it that way, because if I'm swinging them down below, I know exactly where they'd end up down there. I'll be crippled and everything.
I don't do my own stunts.
So I mean, that's part of it. That's built up from the tournament as well. So I mean, I know we can only speculate about what might happen in future seasons anyway with the tournament and how it's going to go, because it's going to be very interesting, I think, with the way things have panned out, of who we're going to see with doing what, especially that final scene, obviously, with who's going to come in to help Daniel and root for Johnny and those to work together and learn. And that's the arc as well. It was the fact that it was a lovely lesson to be told, because I teach this when I'm teaching training, and I teach when I teach debating and talking about that to the cadets at work. And when we're talking about arguments and having to sometimes deal with people who don't have the same opinions as you, and perhaps that if you disagree, how to work with someone who disagrees and things like that. And I've done that in training, and to see that in Cobra Kai with Daniel, and the realization, the dawning of him when Sam came to him, and you could just see the light bulb moment, because she was obviously trying to be herself. She wanted to be her own person. And Daniel's obviously really tied up in his Miyagi-Do history, wanting to respect, Mr. Miyagi, which is fine. And then obviously you've got Johnny tied up with his Eagle Fang and his Cobra Kai way of doing it, offensive and defensive. And to see that lesson of, okay, maybe sometimes you might need to learn something from someone else and incorporate that in order to evolve and become better and to become more of your own individual self. And that was something, obviously, a big lesson of season 4, I think. And it was really, really played out well, with the fact, obviously, Sam getting to where she did. She did win. I know she won. It was just unscrupulous on the undertone of what happened.
The undertone of breaking the cycle throughout the season that was sprinkled in just about every plot line somewhere. I thought that was a great way to bring all the different plot lines together with this sort of the same underlying message.
Definitely. So what was your favorite parts from season 4 as we're talking about it then? So hang on. I've got Matt, Brian, Cara, and Kurt. That's why I go around in a circle at the moment, because that's how you appear on my screen. So I'm going to start with Kurt. I'll go around the other way. Kurt, what was your favorite part about the whole of season 4 as someone watching it back as well as you've been in it, obviously?
Well, just to go back on your original question of what it was like when we got our first scene in the boardroom, what was written in the script, there was a line written in the script that said, addressing the committee members, that this is the highlight of their year. And when we read that, we're thinking, well, this is not too different from real life, right? getting into that boardroom, getting to play with these guys again. And obviously to be on the show and to work with the amazing cast and crew on that show really is the highlight of our year, to be a part of it. And then obviously we get to experience that highlight again once it comes out, and then be able to chat with people like you about it. It's fantastic. So, I do feel like the first memory that always pops up is that first day coming back on set, again, seeing everyone again, and then being able to play these characters again. Matt had previously said, when we chatted about this before, that it's really great to see like everybody kind of evolved with the show, from the creators to the writers to the whole cast and crew. And we kind of feel the same way, is that we kind of grew into these characters more. Whereas in season 1, we're kind of going into it blind, right? Because it hadn't been released yet. We didn't know very much about the show at all. And now got a few seasons to watch to really take in the show. Now we get to come in and really get to play, and really grateful to the creators and the writers to, give us room to play and have show these relationships between the people on the committee, rather than just kind of, bland characters on the side. And so that was definitely the highlight for me.
Fantastic. I know you're right. Yeah, the relationships between the committee, really, that's another, it did build up between you guys as well, because you could see that there was more of that, which was brilliant. And obviously the ganging up against Ron. Cara, how about yourself?
George was pretty cranky with everybody in the room. I mean, there was some stuff that was cut out because you were cranky with me. You got big shoes to fill, Gavin. So I don't know who went in.
Yeah, I was pretty negative throughout a lot of the board meeting. They cut out some of it. I do think, we get to that point where I have that last line in the meeting when I say, God help us all, when we reveal that we're changing everything, right? And it really feels like George has always been about tradition. And all of a sudden we're just completely flipping it on its head. I feel like George is having a meltdown inside that we're just completely breaking away from tradition.
Fair enough. Can't be enough. You got to be able to adapt to change. That's pretty good. Well, Cara, how about yourself?
Wait, is it a highlight of us working, or one of our favorite parts of the show? I'm confused.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm trying to think. I think I confused the question myself, to be honest.
That's okay. Well, because
yourself working on the show. Go on.
Okay. I mean, it's a gift to be working on. I remember just walking around the trailers thinking like, I can't believe we're back. It's just really feeling so incredibly grateful but my absolute just favorite little moment that is so John Hurwitz, it's so reflective of what a beautiful human he is. When we shot that boardroom scene, I had a baby 4 months prior. My son, he's adorable. Anyway, when we were working, Hayden was working with the director with us, and we hadn't seen John. I guess we just did that scene in one day. And John came over to see us on one of his breaks and say hello to all of us. And right away, he asked me about the baby and how everything's going. And just so kind and just connected, paying attention to what's going on in your life outside of the show. I think it's just such a rare, these guys are just, when people say they're the nicest guys, they're the nicest guys in the most genuine, just beautiful way, which is also the success that this show is getting. I think I've seen people say it couldn't happen to better dudes. And that moment really just reminds me of they're just great humans, aside from making this just kick-ass show that we get to be a part of. It's lovely to have them in our personal universe as well. I think it's just any time spent together and working with these guys. They did a great job of putting us all together, and we get on so well. And it's been a real family dynamic in the truest form of family. Sometimes we're fighting, sometimes we love each other. It's just who knows what could happen.
Awesome. Thank you. That's lovely to hear. And I mean, I know that's the family side, because whenever you see you guys on social media, you seem to be you have got that really connection bond, which is going out there as well. And you do with the fans as well, which again is, I think, one of the success of the show is the fact that you reach out and, you sit here and take your time to sit and talk to someone like me out of your, you've got busy days, you're trying to audition, you've got tapes to do, things like that, but you still take time to talk to people like me, which is, it's amazing. And it makes us feel part of that bond as well. Was that your cat, by the way, Brian?
Yeah, there's the cats are squabbling on the floor. So
I've got mine trying to get out the door at the moment. That's why I kept looking down, because I could hear her scratching, and she's trying to get out of the room.
It's mid-afternoon. It's their little playtime.
And Brian, how about yourself? Because obviously you came on new in the show.
Yeah, and it was literally because I think I went through. I had one audition and then a second audition, and then I booked it. But I think I booked it I want to say within a week of being on set. It was right. Okay, hey, you've booked Cobra Kai. Great, you're filming next week. Great. So it was a very quick thing. And in general, as a day player coming into an established show, you don't really know what you're going to get. And then as the new guy in this group of established characters, so there's that double layer of, all right, well, I don't know how this is going to play out. Is everybody been nice? But the everybody else could not have been nicer, more welcoming. Matt, Cara, Kurt, and Keith. Just it didn't take but a few minutes before it felt like I was there from season one. They were very, very fun people in general, as you can tell, but great to work with. They let us play around. It just felt like I was part of the family from the very first shot, very first morning when we all met each other. So I couldn't have asked for a better experience as a new guy coming in.
Fantastic. Excellent. And Matt?
Yeah, I mean, it was great to get the band back together again. And including Brian in, having some a breath of fresh air. It was just a blast. And, to what Kurt had said earlier about all of us sort of growing into these characters, also just having the writing was able to be richer for us this time, because we had the audience already knew who we were to a certain extent, and all of those basics were established. So we were able to, just show up and have fun. And like everyone else was saying, that filming that cold open for episode 6 was really loose. And there was a lot of sort of structured improvisation within what had been written. And they let us play and mess around a lot. And then they cut together the best of the best. I have to say, though, and I wish that I'd taken a picture of this or something, and I totally didn't. If you guys can help jog my memory, there was for a long time when we were shooting that scene, before Cara and Brian get up and do their presentations, there was this dry erase board that was behind me.
Oh my gosh. I wish I had taken a photo too. It was so funny.
Yeah, somebody came in and wrote this list of really insipidly stupid ideas that we could have to make the tournament better. And it was just, oh God, it was all gold. And I can't remember any of it. I don't think this was on there, but it was stuff like concessions would sell crab legs, Malcolm Jamal Warner. It was just this list. Dumb
there were some other celebrities that would have just been bananas. It had tons of awesome comedy on it. Someone must have a picture of it. I don't know why. I had thought while we were working, I've got to get a photo of that. I just thought it would be used because it was so funny.
Right.
A little shot of it would have appeared, and now it's gone. It was so funny.
There are times where I'll think to myself, in moments like that, oh my gosh, I should take a picture of this. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't need to come in here and act like a rookie. I don't need to take pictures. It's going to be on camera. We're going to see it together. And I'll kind of do that to myself with, if I'm working with really famous celebrities. There are times where I'll just dork out and get a picture anyway. There are other times where I'm just this is going to be in the episode. I don't need to get a picture of this guy, whatever. We'll see the episode together. It's going to be on TV. That can be the picture. And I'll just remember.
Now that one's sadly
30 seconds live. But I totally could have gotten a picture of that dry erase board.
I hope it's so.
I'm sure someone from the crew has. Yeah, someone's got to have it. Someone has to have it. 1 second, I'm going to have to let my cat out of the room because she really is going mental. Hang on.
I think next time Hurwitz does a Q&A, like he's on the plane or whatever, somebody needs to be like, dude, you have.
I'm sure somebody from Set Deck has a continuity photo somewhere.
Yeah,
right.
Or it was probably written by a writer. I don't know if Set Deck just like came up with that list, So
sure, yeah,
it's in someone's brain somewhere, and it was.
I mean, it probably was thought to be potentially used, and then they just didn't. There's so much. I mean, so I was thinking a lot as we're like talking to people of all the stuff. Like Gavin left. At one point, when we were fighting, Gavin got up and laughed, which I thought was pretty funny. There was just a lot of stuff. That little like tug of war with the gavel was actually like a scuffle. I mean, it elevated. Kurt and I were in it, and then Gavin like just laughed. I think there were some really funny moments where we were eating too. Keith kept like slurping his straw. There was just a lot of stuff.
I mean, that was actually a question from Helen. You know Helen Irving. I mean, you guys know Helen.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd actually asked because she said she knew everyone was super professional, but how many bloopers and outtakes were there? Because obviously you were a great group of friends. So you've just said some. You must have had a few giggles along the way.
Well, one of the takes where Gavin stands up to leave, there's like camera equipment blocking the door. So he just walks and stands in the corner of the room.
That's literally what I was saying. I was like, well, I can't walk out the door like I wanted to do, so I just sort of walked to the side of the door, and that broke Keith up. Gavin, where are you going?
I mean, it's a funny thing. I don't think obviously every set you go to is not going to be as open to just screwing around with things. But this is one of the things that I really admire about Keith is that he swings big. Like he will just do some bonkers stuff. And I love that about him. And sometimes it's usable, but he's doing what is our job, which is to just give, come up with creative stuff. And I honestly, I said it to him, and I think he might have thought I was being facetious about it, but I am 1,000% serious that I've learned so much. I mean, from working with all of you guys, but Keith just does a great job of giving. Just some awesome stuff comes out of his brain that is so funny, and I applaud him for that. And a lot of it didn't get used. Some of it was pushing a little bit of the boundaries, maybe, of what they're going to allow. We are professional. Ultimately, the board does have that image to uphold, but he does some bonkers stuff. But it was so, I remember, I think Hayden or someone said that was like 11 hours of laughing. We walked away with like our stomachs hurting because it was so fun and funny. Everybody was just doing crazy stuff.
I don't think Keith did the same thing on any 2 takes.
Yeah. Well, and to speak on Keith's behalf, because he probably wouldn't, if he were here, he probably wouldn't blow his own horn like this. So I'll do it for him. That when I was watching, I think a few days after the trailer had dropped, he called me up and was so excited because he's just such a fan of the movies, as we all are. And he was so excited about the trailer and like getting the button on the trailer, that final trailer, that he like started crying on the phone because he was just so happy. And I cried a little bit too. And so we're just these 2 grown-ass men crying on the phone together, talking about how cool it is to be part of Karate Kid. And then when episode 4 dropped and I was watching it, I got to the last 2 episodes where he's emceeing the tournament. And I sent him a text message. I was like, dude, I'm watching your work right now. Like, you are just fantastic. You've got like so much stuff going on. You've got this rich personality. You've got this like weird, like, Warriors puppet master laugh thing going on, and like I can tell like you're packing in some of you in there that I know is not written. I know you're just throwing little ad libs in there left and right. And he was like, "Yeah, I totally did," and I kept waiting to get yelled at, and no one ever stopped me. So I just like kept poking it a little bit more and more. So like, I think anytime that he drops into like, any sort of urban slang or anything like that, like that's just Keith peppering in his from Darryl. That wasn't written that way. That was Keith elevating the material and having fun and showing us that he's having fun, which I think, like, as an acting teacher, like anytime that I'm talking to especially younger actors that are just starting out, like if you can make the positive, joyful choice and show the audience that you are having fun in some way, shape, or form, even dramatic scenes, right? If they can see that you are manifesting joy within yourself, that's what makes them happy, especially if you're trying to make them laugh.
Well, the thing that's cool,
funny, being joyful.
Yeah, and he does. His announcing, I mean, it's a gift. It's so just colors the whole tournament and gives it this like just badass fun guy. And I think that's something, that they're just hoping Keith will bring to it, or whatever. He's going to do his own thing, because you can't so much. I mean, you can write it a little bit, but you can't bring that presence and that energy. That is 1,000% him. And, he just knocks it out of the park. It's such
the stuff in the script is just, okay, here's the exposition dump of what's going on, so we don't have to show it. But Keith just owned it. And it's karate time, and then the Cobra Kai title show. That gave me goosebumps watching it. Oh,
excellent. I mean, it was very reflective of the original Karate Kid tournament as well. And he was, I mean, I noted that with Keith, with that whole scene. It was just like, absolutely. It was obviously, you had the original Karate Kid, you had Keith, but he was perfect. Like you say, says I'm about to raise my hand because I obviously picked my hand going up. Yes, the scene being an MC was brilliant.
If we do these interviews without Keith, let's just spend the whole time talking about Keith. I like it a lot.
No, it's great. And he was, like you said, he absolutely nailed being an MC like that. And it's great to hear that he ad-libbed it and they let it carry on as well. I've got a question. Sorry?
Carrie Ann, refresh my memory real quick. In season 1 during the tournament, how did the you running in a la Ali, how did that unfold? Because that was sort of an on-the-fly thing, right?
Yeah, that was just, I think John and Josh and Hayden came up with it. I mean, I don't know. It was like right before we were going to go to lunch.
I guess what I'm asking is, when he says, wait, Daniel LaRusso is going to coach? Daniel LaRusso, he's going to coach. Was that in the script? So it was just you running on?
So. Yeah. Thing? And it was intended to just be an homage to Allie running in when Daniel got hurt. And I remember Josh coming up to me because we didn't know what the show would be, right? When we came in for season 1, no one knew. So I had not gone and rewatched the Karate Kid movies. Honestly, because I didn't know what this was going to be. Would it reflect differently if I had just watched them? So I had not seen it. And then Josh came up. I mean, I watched it when I was a kid, obviously. But Josh came up and he was like, hey, remember the scene where Allie runs out to the mat? And I was kind of like, and he was like, it's cool if you don't. It's no big deal. You're just going to run out onto the mat, But then we were going to lunch, and as an actor, you did of course I went into I got to know how to do this like the best I can do it. So I actually texted my husband and I was like, can you find this scene? And truly within a couple minutes, he sent me a YouTube video of it. So I just watched it and I actually went over, we're all so eager to please. I went over to John and Josh and I was like, so how much of how close to this do you want me to do? And they were like, just run out into the map. Just run out. It's cool. It's just so funny how they really are so chill, but we're always I just want to make sure you're happy with what I'm doing. But it was that actually my husband loves that. And I still get people who catch that is what that is, that it's a callback to the movies. They do it so much, so much in this season I was watching and I was like, oh, that's from the movies. You can see all of this stuff. They just are. it's so detailed. Like it blows my mind how nuanced and detailed all these little subtle things are, or not so subtle, you know. I think the other thing that I was thinking about that I just love them for is there's really easy things that they could do. I think there's easy callbacks or there's easy jokes that they could go for, and they just never do it. It's like they never take the low-hanging fruit. They always go for something that is so much smarter than I see coming. And you know, it's what creates this incredible fan base. Really, they do such a good job.
Fantastic.
They did that with Johnny's at the hospital. I think maybe he's dropping off the checks from the Gale or something. But there's a blonde doctor that is there, and we see the back of her head. And they're sort of setting up this idea that because there was this sort of fan theory that Allie was going to come in as the doctor that was going to help fix Miggy's spine and help him walk again. And so
cool.
Johnny goes up to the hospital, and there's this blonde doctor that's about to turn around and look at us. And I sort of thought the same thing, like, oh, guys, like, you know, geez, that's playing fruit. And then she turns around and it's not her. Yes, she did it again. Great.
Pull the rug out.
Yeah. And even in the tournament in the last bit, you know, when you're following Kreese and you're thinking you're going back to the Karate Kid and you've got the sweep the leg thing, you know, just do it, break it. And you think that's going to happen. And that's when that twist turns around, when that's actually where Kreese kind of redeems himself a little bit. And then it's Terry Silver who picks it up and takes that mantle over. And you know, you were expecting it. And I was sitting there thinking, all right, this is where Kreese is going to do this, he's going to do that. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute. What's, you know, dynamic changed again. And that, and it wasn't just there, like you said, Cara. It's all the way through. There's little bits and pieces and nuances that they tune and twist, and it's just fantastic. It really is. I think that's what makes it such a really cool show. And it's very different to a lot of shows that are out there as well. In that sort of liveliness and sort of vibrance about what, you know, those three guys and the writers and everybody, you guys, the performers, everyone in it. It's just bringing everything into such a perfection of a piece. Yeah, that sounds so sycophantic.
And it's not just a nostalgia play. I mean, the quality of the writing has superseded, you know, the nostalgia. Even if it had nothing to do with a pre-existing property, the show itself would be able to stand on its own very well. Because
people don't even need to see the originals, really, because they can be able to.
Thing.
Yeah, definitely. I've got one question. It's Simon Barry Brisbois. He's been a listener of my show or a watcher of my show for quite a while. And it's just it's kind of sort of coming to the end with COVID, because obviously this must have hit, because we've obviously had this for 2 years. You filmed all through that. How difficult was that with obviously guidelines and everything going through? That's the question he sort of wanted to know. Was it more difficult to maintain like interactions behind the scenes and things because of that, the restrictions in place, which were there? I can't remember when you actually filmed this. Was it the beginning of last year?
Yeah, February, March.
Yeah.
And then we filmed again in April. I mean, they did a great job. Everybody's masked, other than the actors speaking, and we were being tested all the time. You know, they had figured out how to keep the set safe, and did a pretty good job. I mean, I was going to say the thing that did change a little bit for us. I mean, we didn't see a lot of the actual tournament. But maybe we never would have seen some of that stuff. I don't know, but they were limiting numbers of people, like extras. I think that was really limited. You know, they were doing what any working set right now is still doing. I'm assuming, because it's just like the way it is now is keeping everybody safe. But it seemed like they did it.
No, fantastic.
Face shields testing within every 48 hours of you being there. Standard protocols. I mean, it's once you got used to it, I didn't think it was that big of a, obviously it's not the same as it was pre-COVID, but I didn't think it was that much of a restriction either. Once you get used to things, like the same with my work, where I work as well. It's the same sort of thing. You know, once you get used to it, and it just becomes part of natural life. Or you can have a bottle of wine and pretend it's a work meeting. Sorry, that was digging my prime minister. One thing that One thing that did help me, however, is in the old days, pre-COVID, you could just go to Kraft and grab whatever you want. Now you have to have somebody get it for you and give it to you. And in the old days, I would just eat 85 bags of fruit snacks and gummy bears a day. And now I just feel embarrassed going every 5 minutes and going, hey, can I get another bag of fruit snacks? I
have a similar thing. Yeah. Normally I would just like fill a bag with it. Now I'm like, may I have?
Yeah, please, sir. Can I have some more?
Yeah. Also cleaner. Like, some of these changes are actually good changes. Before when we're getting, fed a meal, usually some sort of buffet style thing. And you just sort of go down the row and say like, I'll take some salmon and a little chicken and some vegetables, whatever they have. But I mean, you do that same thing, but now there's like big plastic blast shields and everyone's masked and there's sanitizer everywhere and it's cleaner. The craft services table, like used to be like, I'm sort of a slight germaphobe anyway, but the craft services table was always kind of gross to me. Like they would have these, like they would go to Sam's or whatever and get like a big jug of nuts or like pretzel or something.
Really ruining the illusion, the magic.
Something in their hand, or like there was a spoon there, but it was sort of like who knew who actually used it. So it was like, and on one hand, like sure we're all family, but on the other hand, like did everyone wash their hands after they went to the bathroom before they stuck their hands in? So, it's not like that anymore, which is actually kind of nice.
Yeah. So you're right. You ruined the illusion now because I thought you all sat on silver platter tables and backstage.
So, even on the biggest projects, like set is kind of gross. Like, you're just everyone, and especially like after hour 14, like, you said just breath and feet. Like, we're just sort of just getting through the day,
Fair enough. Right, I'll draw this to a close now because we actually reached an hour. I could talk to you guys all night. I really could. So is there anything, I'll go around the table and if you just say some final parting thing that you have for people who are watching or listening. I'll start with Matt this time.
Hello. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us on Hellblazer Biz and with Chris. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and thanks for all your support. And I'm looking forward to season 5, just like everybody else.
Excellent, Brian.
Basically, ditto what Matt said. Matt and everybody, when I first got to say, were like, "You are not going to believe the fans of this show," and I cannot believe how dedicated the fans of it. Now that I'm in the middle of it, the fans of this show are amazing. So thank you, everybody. For your support and for watching. And season 5 already in the can from what I've heard. So too far away.
Yeah, definitely. Car.
Well, what the other guys said. Thank you for all your love and support to our great fans out there. It means the world to us, and specifically like getting so excited about seeing us return, which we of course were, but knowing that you're loving our, storylines on the show is just, it's such a gift. And I think it really just encourages you to keep going. And, we really couldn't do this without you guys and your love of the show. So thank you so much.
And Kurt.
Awesome. Yeah, all these guys said everything already. Thank you, Chris, for having us. And thank you so much for the fans. We, just like everybody else, are huge fans of the show as well. So we can't wait to see season 5 and however long it goes. And it would be cool if 30 years from now, there's another reboot and they bring back the committee when we're all in our however old we're going to be in 30 years. I can't even count that high anymore.